Morning, we'll call the Governance Committee meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to accept the minutes from the January 18th, 2023 meeting. Those were sent out. Everyone had an opportunity to make comment or revision, so we'll accept those for the record. Our next item on the agenda is the public comment session. Anyone who would like to address the Governance Committee meeting has 5 minutes, either virtually or here. So we'll open that portion of the meeting. Is there anyone who would like to address the Governance Committee meeting at this time? Okay, seeing or hearing none, we will close that portion of the meeting. Next item on the agenda is a review, discussion, recommendation of the summary results of the confidential evaluation of the board performance dated February 1st, 2023.
Yes. So the next several items related to our board evaluation and policies and procedures are all part of our annual administrative process for our Paris reporting. So every year at this time, we ask the board to provide this data. We aggregate that, and you do have the summary. I will review this with Chairman Bernardo. If there's anything, the Governance Committee would like to specifically acknowledge within the board summary, I'm happy to discuss that report is provided as part of Paris, the Paris reporting to the authority's budget office. It does require, does it require, Natalie? I'm sorry, no approval required?
Or we just more to accept?
Just to accept it,
Or
yes.
Move it to the full.
Yeah.
Motion to accept.
Accept it and move it.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any comment or discussion? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report and move it to the full board for the consideration.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a review discussion of the 2022 mission and measurement report of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency. Natalie?
Yes, so this is an annual requirement of the authority's budget office. The report is based on the achievements of the staff in 2022 and objectives and goals for the staff for 2023. It's a requirement that we do annually. And we tie both last year's goal and this year's goal to our strategic.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Natalie? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report and move it forward to the full board.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Aye. A review, discussion, recommendation on the readoption of the agency's bylaw, code of ethics policy, the defense and indemnification policy, the whistleblower protection policy, the compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, and the travel policy with no changes. So obviously we don't need any, that's self-explanatory.
Yes.
Is there a motion? Second.
But you do this with the land bank, too, right? Yeah, so you know this process. Yeah.
Good there.
Legislature, we only had $25 a year, only $75.
Yeah.
As they get
Right.
inflation.
Yes.
Resolution and approving an extension of the June 10th, 2021 sales and use tax exemption agreement and the sales and use tax exemption increase agreement of EJ Victory Building LLC expiring on February 17th, 2022 from February 17th, 2023 through and including December 31st, 2023. The total of which should not exceed $1,848,000. Stacy.
Yeah, so this is a request for the extension of time on the sales tax benefit provided to Paulus Development. This is for the redevelopment of the Victory Lofts building in Johnson City. I expect, I know the building is currently leasing. They do expect to open to tenants by March, ideally by March of this year. So I think this will just cover any final costs related to the completion of the project. They are, I think, tentatively planning some sort of opening event also in March. Most of the delays have been with regard to supply chain issues, a lot of utility infrastructure that they've been waiting on. So, but the project is near completion. So I think this just provides some extra time for that benefit.
So has he started leasing?
He has, yeah, he actually started leasing in the fall of last year. And I'm actually part of, looking to schedule a board tour of the project. Yes, at the end of next week, waiting to confirm. So I don't know the current,
just
you know,
curious
where
how
he's
he's
at. I'm hearing he's leasing well, but I don't have the
That'd
exact
be
number.
interesting.
Mhm.
Did they carve out the fifth floor, the top floor on
Top
that?
floor is being, targeted for commercial space, yeah.
Okay, so
I
are they
don't-
working on it or no? Or was it just kind of rough?
I think
rough?
at this stage, mostly vanilla box, so that might be part of the benefit, you know, the extension is to complete that part of the
So that's
project.
included in
Yeah.
everything else?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I don't believe, to my knowledge, at least as of today, they don't have a commercial tenant secured, that likely they're probably vetting some potential, but the apartments themselves, they're planning to open in spring.
Wow. That'd be interesting how he does.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful. If you see it, drive by it in the evening, it does look like the rendering he showed it. It looks beautiful lit up at night.
Is there a motion? Is
So moved.
there a second? All in favor? Aye. The next item on the agenda is a resolution accepting an application from Phoenix Endicott Industrial Investors LLC and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $8,000 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the preparation of the roof on premises located at 1301 Clark Street in the village of Endicott. For the installation of a new thermoplastic polyline roof system.
Yes,
Is that
so.
it? How about you say it?
Sounds good, right?
You're the contractor.
Well, I'll-
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So this is, I expect, with Phoenix, we've had multiple conversations with them on the ongoing, what I think will be a multi-year redevelopment of this significantly large campus. So I expect, and they're unable to really determine the cost of all of their renovations. So we propose that they come to us as in a case by case and phases of this project when they need that sales tax, benefit. So this is part of that process. This project, as noted, consists of demolition of old mechanical equipment that is no longer in use for the roof, and it is helps to prepare the new, I'm just going to say TPO roof system. So the benefit of this is a $8,000 sales tax exemption for Phoenix investors. Just more broadly, my understanding of the broader redevelopment is they are looking to begin demolition or prep for demolition in spring of this year for the old building group. And we are engaged through the LDC on providing some of the ARPA funds. So it is moving.
Okay.
Those TPO roofs, that's the white single membrane that you see instead of the black rubber roof.
Oh, okay.
Flat roof, those are the white reflective ones.
Okay.
Now, they say they're gonna increase jobs by either 4 or 5. How are they gonna be created? You know,
I think that they'll likely be through construction jobs, most likely on this. I don't know of any specific, professional staff with Phoenix that they're adding, but that could be also most of their staffing, with the exception, Chris Pelto still served as sort of the lead for the facilities management, and he has a crew there. So most of the team we deal with is based in Milwaukee still.
Is this in conjunction publicly announced they're taking down smokestacks and equipment?
I don't.
Part of that building?
I
That
don't
was
know.
18
I
and
don't think
41.
so. Yeah.
Which is next to McKinley
Yeah.
Avenue there. I think if this is right, 1301 Clark Street, that's 258. That's the new group.
That's the newer building where
Off of Oak Street,
where
right?
Binghamton University has part of their CAM, they have their CAM equipment there. It is where Ubiquity Solar is intending to, they have a lease with Ubiquity Solar out of Canada. So that is one of their newer, and they have a few smaller a few smaller operators out of there, but it is 258 is probably their newest of their
and
building.
they're 2 floors.
At least, yeah.
That
I
was-
think there's.
That's true.
That was
I was
built
gonna
like
say, I think it's 3 or
84.
4. Yeah,
86
that's their
before
newer,
I was-
yeah. Yeah. Mhm. I think it's where IM3 has all of their professional offices currently. And then BU, of course, BU takes, I think, the second floor of that space.
Any additional questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that, I think that concludes our agenda items. Is there any new business, Stacy, that we have to talk about?
Just one new item I would like to introduce, and I'll do it again at the full board, but I want to introduce Stacy Gukas. She is our new administrative support specialist. So yeah, so we have Stacy D and Stacy G now, just to keep you guys, yes. So, but she's a very quick read, so we're,
Good.
yes, so you, when you see emails, you. Yeah, we have to do all of that, but
Okay.
we can go right into LDC. Only a minute behind.
Okay,
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. We'll call the LDC Governance Committee meeting to order. First item on the agenda is accepting the minutes from September 21st, 2022. Those were sent out. Individuals had an opportunity to review and make any revisions, so we'll accept those for the record. Next item on the agenda is the public comment section. Anyone who would like to address the committee has 5 minutes. We ask that they just give us their name and address. We'll open that session now. Is there anyone virtually or physically here who would like to address the committee? Seeing none, I'll close that portion of the meeting. First, the next item on the agenda is a review, discussion, recommendation of the summary results of the confidential evaluation of board performance dated February 1st, 2023.
Yes, so this is part of an annual administrative action by the board to review and accept summary results of a evaluation that staff sends to the board at the end of each year. Per the authority's budget office, this summary board evaluation is included in our annual reporting to the Paris system, which is will be done by the end of March.
Is there a motion to accept and move to the full board? So, is there a second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Review, discussion, recommendation of the 2022 mission and measurement report of the Broome County Local Development Corporation as attached as Exhibit A. Natalie?
this is an annual requirement, the authority's budget office. The report is based on the achievements of the staff from 2022 and objectives and goals for the staff in 2023. It's a requirement that we do annually, and we tie both last year's goals and this year's goals to the strategic plan approved by the board.
Is there a motion?
So,
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next item is a review, discussion, recommendation of the readoption of the Broome County LDC's bylaws, code of ethics policy, whistleblower protection policy, defense and indemnification policy, compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, and travel policy with no changes. I think we just, is there a motion?
Can I add before
Okay, go ahead.
the motion? For some reason, it cut off the last page of the travel policy. I have included it in your packet, or in your
Okay.
folder, so I apologize. I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay, good to know. Is there a motion? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's carried. Finally, anything else for the agenda?
No,
All right, motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
right. Wait this month.
Right, so we're ready for the main
We
act.
will need to have
Order this meeting, the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of February 15th, 2023. Welcome all the board members, the staff. Looking for approval of the minutes of the January 18th, 2023 board meeting. Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Elaine, thank you. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Come to the part of our agenda where we have our public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the Broome County Industrial Development Agency, please state your name and address for the record. And if you are a person calling in, we don't have your name, would you be kind enough to let us know who you might be? I see a phone number on the screen.
Yes, if you could sign into the chat, the name and organization. I know Ryan, so we've got him covered, so it would be helpful for our minutes.
Anybody wishing to speak? We'll call this session to a close. Executive Director's report, Stacy.
Just a few things to report. Happy to report that the demolition at the former IBM Country Club is officially complete at the end of January. The site, if you've been by it, it looks quite amazing to see the site now. LaChase has seeded, and it will, and we will make sure the community is aware and just keep that communication. The site will sit vacant for several months as Conifer LaChase pursues the low-income housing tax credits for their project. That being said, we did have a kickoff call with Conifer LaChase with their team based in Rochester. They are ready to move. So they're already starting soil boring and geotesting on site. And they are working through the town on their site planning approval process. And they would like to get moving on our benefit. If you recall, it had been some time, but we have accepted the application for this project. I've asked them to review and see if there's significant modifications with the project that would, kick in sort of a restart. But without that, we hope to bring that project back to the board for approval of a pilot benefit in March. One thing we'll have to do is set a public hearing on that project. But the pilot approval does help with the process of applying for the low-income housing tax credits. Lenny Skrill with Homes and Community will be in town this week. I'm hoping I can get him over to the site, but at this stage, the state has liked this project quite a bit. Brendan and I will be meeting with the town of Union. We'll be going to their work session this evening to provide an overview of our analysis for the development of a new business corporate park in the town of Union and town of Maine. We'll also update them on other projects in the town. Looking forward to meeting with new supervisor Rob Mack and the new board members and talking about this exciting new development. We will also be meeting with the town of Maine similarly next week. So on the 21st, we'll be doing sort of the same review of that. On the potential new development park, we had some remaining funds through our contract with Shoemaker, which is now, you may have seen, purchased by Hunt Engineering. What Shoemaker recommended was that we complete a deeper analysis to have them explore a little more deeply where potential entryways could be located. So when we get that information, we'll provide that to the board. And with regard as well, we are continuing to draft our application to FAST. That's the state shovel ready application. We are looking for a pre-development grant through FAST for the potential new development park. That's an ask of up to $500,000 that would assist with costs of doing all of the site engineering, full site engineering design and analysis. Let's see. On the 24th, I think I sent a note to the board. We have secured. I'd like to get, it's always good to get the board out to see some of these projects, not just at completion, but in process. So we will be touring Oakdale Commons at 10 a.m. With Mark Newman and Doug Matthews. And to hopefully make best use of everybody's time, I am trying to also secure a tour of Victory Lofts either before or after. So I'm working with Paulus Development and La Chase on that. So more to come. Lastly, on the 28th through March 2nd, Natalie, Brendan, and I will be at the New York State Economic Development Conference. You will hear later from our statewide fearless leader, Ryan Silva, who will have some updates on activity at the state level. But we will be there attending that always great event. So that's all I had.
Questions for Stacy? I would ask a couple. The La Chase project, the country club, this round, they're gonna apply for funding.
It's Myers. Yes, they will be
And tonight at Union at 6.
6 o'clock. Yeah.
I'm coming to drive. I'd be a little crazy. We'll see.
6 o'clock. And then next week, I believe it's the Tuesday, the 21st at Town of Maine.
Beautiful.
You get us detail on where we're gonna meet over the 24th.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I'm waiting just to hear back from Alexandra Davis with Newman Development on where they want us to.
Just look
meet
for the
up.
construction equipment.
Yeah.
I don't have to leave my office.
Stacey, I have a quick question with regard to the potential corporate park.
Mhm.
Last time we met, it came to light that there was a parcel that would be necessary for an ingress
Mhm.
off of Airport Road. Has anybody looked into that to see what the feasibility is of purchasing that back from the person that recently bought it?
Right, we have not had any formal conversations with that specific entity. We're gonna present to the towns this week, next week, and then make sure they're aware of our next steps on engaging in some of those conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what did we find out about those electric lines that might be going in?
It's the
yeah,
other
we didn't-
step, so
yeah, we-
it's outside of our footprint.
Yeah, we did check on that, and look, I looked to my resident, knows the land by the, yes. We did check on that following the meeting, and there should not be any
Okay.
issue because it's outside, so we are good there. Yes.
Any other questions? Had a chance to review the internal financial report for the IDA. Are there any questions relative to that document?
Just a quick note, as always, in the money in the transition account, that money is always swept into our investment account at the end of every month. So it shows a higher balance than we normally keep, but it
They
is.
do that for my benefit.
Yes.
I've always complained.
Why is it sitting there? Yes.
Any more interest?
No, it does. They usually see if we need it for any purpose and sweep it, which we do not currently.
So, like, loan activity reports. Any questions for Natalie? Natalie, you want to offer anything or?
Just a note that Concept Systems has paid off their loan.
Thank you.
So I have a question, just because I'm new here, so I
Sure.
just want to make sure I understand that. So I see that the current balances are very close to or equal to the opening balances. Do they only make interest only payments or are they new loans or?
On any specific loan or just generally?
In general,
No, some of those are through the emergency loan category. Are they? Yeah.
Right, and they don't make payment or interest for a year.
oh, okay.
So
What-
some of
yeah.
them are just, some of them have kicked in, some are still in that year. That year deferral, so.
So Elaine, just some background, when in 2020, the board approved us sort of modifying our loan underwriting requirements and processes. So we essentially took our pool of existing loan funds, created the Broome County Emergency Loan Fund to make it as easy for companies during that period of time. We had no P&I payments for a year. We waived all fees associated, and we did a little, I guess, less stringent underwriting per se. It was more of an emergency loan situation. So that sunsetted as of the beginning of this year. So now we are back to our traditional, I guess, loan.
I guess, were you referring to this page here?
Yes.
Okay, so the opening balance is for the year. So
Oh, that's for the
that's,
year.
so the
Oh,
current
okay, I didn't
balance is
realize
what
that.
you'll see change throughout this year. So
Okay.
the opening balance is what we started with in 23 for these loans, so it's not the
Okay,
actual.
all right, I didn't understand. that.
Yes, yeah, I think, yes, yeah, but some of them you won't see the balance change
Uh-huh,
for a year.
right,
Until
okay.
they start making.
So does interest accrue during that year or no?
It doesn't,
No,
no,
yeah, so but that program has since sunsetted, yeah.
In the COVID time.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. But no, great question. Thank you, Natalie, too, for.
Any other questions for Natalie? Good. Item number 6, quarterly board informational session. We have Ryan Silva on with us
We
from New York State
we do.
Development Council. Hi, Ryan.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to join you all here. It is actually beautiful and sunny and 45 degrees in Albany, New York today. And I hope the weather is equally as nice and feeling like spring in Binghamton and Broome County as well. Stacy, Natalie, I want to say thank you for your continued partnership, your leadership, and for the opportunity to speak here a little bit today. As many of you know, the governor's State of the State and budget have been presented to the legislature. The New York State EDC is closely tracking different proposals that are included in that budget document and have been sharing our analysis, not only with all of our members, but also had the opportunity and the privilege to speak with the Joint Legislative Budget Hearing Committee I'm trying to remember what day it was, last Thursday, to provide analysis of the budget and some of the things that we would like to see included in a final budget approval, which will hopefully be done and completed by April 1st. So I'm going to just briefly talk about a couple of things that the EDC has prioritized and a couple of the things that we would like to see to continue spurring economic development growth, and then happy to take any questions from any of the members of the agency's board, or as well provide any context, Stacy, Natalie, that you would like for me to do. So Stacy referenced a little bit about the Shovel Ready Fast New York program. The New York State EDC was very supportive and frankly instrumental in the development of that program last year, which would provide $200 million to prepare sites around New York State for industry attraction. We were hoping that another $200 million would be allocated in this year's budget. It was not in the governor's executive budget, so we are asking the legislature to add those funds in, as well as the Restore New York program. I do know Restore has been a very popular program for rehabilitating vacant and dilapidated buildings across New York State. I am aware Binghamton has utilized and taken advantage of this program in past years. There was an unprecedented amount of funding of $250 million in last year's budget for this program. This program was not reauthorized for funding this year. It is our understanding that over $400 million worth of projects applied to the Restore New York program last year. So there certainly is an opportunity and demand for this initiative. So we're asking, again, the legislature to add this back into the budget for a final agreement later this year. Continued authorization of workforce development funds. Investing in people right now and finding talent is one of the biggest challenges businesses are facing. So we're hoping and advocating for additional funds for workforce development. We are focusing on housing, much like the governor and the legislature are. Housing is becoming a unique challenge all across New York State, whether it's affordability or quality of stock or overall stock of housing. So we recognize that IDAs can play a critical role in helping bring more housing units and options to their communities. So we're advocating and asking for additional funding or additional tools for IDAs to assist in developing new housing units in their communities. We're out focused on the Centers for Advanced Technology and Centers of Excellence. We know Binghamton University has a couple of wonderful centers. We would like to see them get additional funding. The clean energy economy is critically important as well, and our members have played a very vital role in seeing through clean energy projects all across New York State, whether it's wind, whether it's solar, whether it's manufacturing and assembly. So we recognize that there's a role for our members to play, and we're hopeful that our members will continue to play a very active role in the clean energy economy. We're doing a lot of things around industry attraction. and understanding what are the industries that New York State is competing and competing well at, and how do we double down on that? So battery and energy storage, semiconductors, advanced manufacturing, again, the clean energy economy are all areas, along with the life sciences that we know and believe we will be very competitive in. And then just a couple of other things that we're really looking at is, many of you are familiar with the Public Authorities Reporting Information System, or PARIS as it's better known. It is woefully antiquated and outdated. It was a database built 15 years ago for really a modern technology that just doesn't compat with the old system, as well as the metrics of how we measure economic success. It's a very different economy now. IDAs are providing assistance in a variety of different capacities, and we want to make sure that we are providing the public with access to a broader set of metrics and impacts that IDAs are having. So we're actually trying to work with the state controller's office as well as the legislature to modernize that system and to modernize the database. And we have a series of recommendations that would include looking at housing starts, looking at clean energy starts, looking at downtown revitalization and adaptive reuse projects. So we're going to continue to advocate for those changes. And then we're looking at a couple of things with regards to changing the general municipal law or the tax law. Right now, a pilot that is provided in a community is not counted and included in the tax cap growth formula. So this creates a bit of a logistical challenge for taxing jurisdictions at the local level, whether it be towns, cities, counties, or school districts, factoring in the growth that an IDA supported project brings into their community. So we're asking for legislation that would include projects that are receiving a pilot be factored into the formula for the 2% tax cap, thus giving those communities the additional flexibility that's needed to account for the growth that we know IDA projects are bringing to their respective communities. So in addition to that, we track a whole series of legislative items and bills that members of the Senate and Assembly are introducing. Where we can, we try to find ways to work with the legislature to solve the concerns or challenges they may have. At the same time, we recognize that something is going to hurt our members and hurt their ability to drive economic growth in their communities, we will weigh in and we will oppose those pieces of legislation. So we keep in pretty close contact with Stacy and our other board members and IDAs around the state. And when needed, we will certainly call upon our partners to help lend your voices to the efforts that we have here in Albany. And just in closing, before I sort of turn anything over for questions, I would encourage the IDA, and I know you do this, to maintain open dialogue and conversations with your legislative leaders in Albany, newly elected Senator Webb, as well as Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo, letting them know that programs like Restore New York and Shovel Ready are critical for economic growth in your community. I think is something that could be very helpful to our efforts collectively here in Albany. And also reiterating the important work that you do as an IDA LDC and the work that you do for Broome County. Not all legislators necessarily agree and recognize the important and critical role that you all play in driving economic growth for your community and creating a higher quality of life. So the more you can share with them the success stories and engage them in the dialogue of what you're doing, the more effective we can be here in Albany in sharing those stories as well. So with that, Stacy, I know that wasn't 20 minutes, but I wanted to provide an overview and happy to take any questions that you or any of your members may have.
Well, thank you. No, that was terrific, Ryan, as always. Thank you. And I want to underscore that through Ryan's leadership and the team at EDC, I mean, so many things that IDAs have been asking for years have advanced, specifically with, fast and shovel ready funds. I mean, we've been trying to move the needle on helping us build build appropriate sites to bring companies in rather than rather than trying to do this process backwards, because it's hard to get the companies in without the site. So EDC and through Ryan's leadership has been instrumental in that, instrumental on chips. I think it's going to drive more manufacturing projects here. So it's such a great partnership there. And just a note on Restore, as of fall of this past year, I think Broome County alone received a little over $10 million in Restore funds for 3 separate projects for the Village of Endicott, for Phoenix investors, for the redevelopment of Huron, for a Green Mountain Electrical, which is a project we've supported, and as well, almost $3 million for an affordable housing project that's being planned in the city of Binghamton. So those Restore monies are very valuable to the work that we do. So I will stop talking in case anybody has questions.
Questions for Ryan? Ryan, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And what I am certainly looking forward to getting down to Broome County in the near future. Stacy owes me a tour of the Dick's Sporting Goods facility. I saw phase 1. I haven't seen the full phase 2 completion, but it was one of the favorite projects I had the privilege of working on when I was with the state and ESD many years ago. And that's a great example of the importance of having sites with the right infrastructure and the ability to compete with other states for large scale projects. So looking forward to coming down and visiting you all in person in the very near future.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 7, communications and marketing report, Stacy.
Yes, we are going to delay that. Unfortunately, Amy Williamson had an unexpected medical issue to attend with. So it's I will get her slides or her presentation and send that out to the board electronically.
Thank you. We got to resolutions. Resolution number 8, resolution approving the summary results of the confidential evaluation of board performance dated February 1st, 2023.
Okay, so that's me. This did go through governance. This is again part of the administrative process through the APO, our annual requirements under the authority's budget office for our Paris reporting, as was referred to. So this document goes out to the board every year, and we just need the board to approve it, and it will be submitted in the Paris system.
There.
So governance accepted it and we move it forward to the full board for their.
As a motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 9, resolution approving the 2022 mission and measurement report of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency as attached here to as Exhibit A. Natalie.
Thank you, John. So this is an annual requirement of the authority's budget office. The report is based on the achievements of the staff in 2022 and objectives and goals for the staff for 2023. It's a requirement that we do annually, and we tie both last year's goals and this year's goals to the strategic plan approved by you all.
Thank you, Natalie.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to accept.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving onward to number 10, resolution approving the readoption of the agency's bylaws, the code of ethics policy, the defense and indemnification policy, the whistleblower protection policy, the compensation, reimbursement, and attendance policy, and the travel policy with no changes. Natalie.
Yes, this is another annual requirement of the authority budget office. That the staff and board review the bylaws and its policy and procedures on an annual basis to make sure that they are in line with the board's direction. The staff has reviewed these policies and we're recommending that the board readopt bylaws and policies and procedures with no changes.
Mayor.
We move it forward as a motion to accept.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? That's a lot of policies. Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 11, resolution approving an extension of the June 10th, 2021 sales and use tax exemption agreement and the sales and use tax exemption increase agreement of EJ Victory Building LLC, expiring on February 17th, 2022 from February 17th, 2023 through and including December 31st, 2023, the total of which shall not exceed $1,848,000. Stacy.
Yes, so this is a request only for extension of time on this benefit, not any dollar value associated with that, any increase in there. As you know, the Victory Building is near completion, you may know. They are currently leasing. They've been leasing since the fall. They hope to have first tenants in by March of this year, so coming up very quickly. The project has experienced, like most delays, mostly related to utility infrastructure they needed for the apartments. That has since come in, but they do require a little additional time as they get ready to open. So that is again one of the stops. I'm hoping to get you all in on the tour of that.
Thank you, Stacy. Mayor.
Governance move it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Peter. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving onward to number 12. Resolution accepting an application from Phoenix Endicott Industrial Investors LLC and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $8,000 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the preparation of the roof on premises located at 1301 Clark Street in the village of Endicott, Broome County, New York, for the installation of a new thermoplastic polyolefin roof system.
There you go.
Thanks, Dan. I knew I could count on you. Now, Stacy, we'd like a complete explanation.
What
of
that
what
is,
that
yes.
word
I would defer that to Alex Schwab, who happens to be on the call, should you want a deeper explanation of that, but this is, and I noted this in governance, and I wanted to, because this project of redeveloping Huron is going to be multi-year and going to have many different moving parts to it. I expect this and a previous one, I expect some of these requests to be coming on a case by case, sort of as a phased process. So this is sales tax benefit is for the demolition of old mechanical equipment at 1301 Clark Street, which I believe is building 258. Which is one of their newer buildings that is no longer in use for the roof and to be prepared for, see, I get to say just the TPO roof system. So the total cost of that project is $100,000 and the value of the benefit would be $8,000.
Thank you, Stacy. Mayor.
Governance move it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thanks, Chip. Let's have a discussion. Any questions for Alex, who's on the phone with us, I believe, from Phoenix? That said, let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Moving on to number 13, are we going into executive session?
I do not have any items today unless the board has anything they'd like to.
Any executive session items? Moving onward to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
One second.
Oh, one
Yeah,
minute. We're right on time today.
Move it along.
We gotta,
You and me both. We have a minute before we start.
Stacey, I was gonna ask, is there any, you're talking about recapturing on canopy and stuff, is there anything going on?
we
with that?
have a discussion with them tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually,
We got hazard pay today.
Like, yes?
Yep.
Like to call to order this meeting of the Broome County Local Development Corporation of February 15th, 2023. And looking for approval of the minutes or a motion to approve the minutes of our January 18th, 2023 board meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Peter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to our public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the local development corporation, please state your name and address for the record. We'll call this session to a close. New business. Item number 4, resolution approving the summary results of the confidential evaluation of board performance dated February 1st, 2023.
Yes, as part of our requirement through the authority's budget office, our required reporting requirements to the Paris system. Every year, we ask the board to fill out a confidential board evaluation, and we aggregate that data. It is included in your summary board results. Upon approval by the board, we will include that in our Paris reporting this year.
This comes out of governance, man.
Yes, governance moves it forward as a motion to accept.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion? I'm going to offer something on this, noting that there are a couple disagreements as far as sufficient opportunity to research, discuss, question, and the board members feeling empowered to delay votes. I'm offering, if anybody has a suggestion to improve the way in which we do business, I'm all ears. The door is open. If there's a problem or a perceived problem, you gotta make a suggestion. We're all bright people, and I think any of us can make a suggestion and it will be received. It will be welcome. Let's put it that way. So if we can improve the flow and we can improve the way we do business, we should. So
Let us
please.
know.
With that said, we have a motion and a second, yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Resolution approving the 2022 mission and measurement report of the Broome County Local Development Corporation as attached here to as Exhibit A. Natalie.
Thank you. This is again an annual requirement of the Authority Budget Office. The report is based on the achievements of the staff from 2022 and the goals and objectives for the staff for 2023. It's a requirement that we do annually, and we tie both last year's goals and this year's goals to the strategic plan that the board has already.
Thank you, Natalie. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to accept.
Thank you. Is there a second? Elaine, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 6, resolution approving the readoption of the Broome County Local Development Corporation's bylaws, the Code of Ethics Policy, the Whistleblower Protection Policy, the Defense and Indemnification Policy, the Compensation Reimbursement and Attendance Policy, and the Travel Policy with no changes. And I noticed that we have a.
Yes, we had a
insert.
missing page 2.
Correct.
Our apologies. Yeah.
Got it. That was specific to the LDC. Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Natalie.
All right. Just another annual requirement of the authority's budget office, that the staff and the board review the bylaws and its policies and procedures on an annual basis to make sure that they are in line with the board's direction. The staff has reviewed these documents and we're recommending that the board readopt the bylaws and policies and procedures with no change.
Thank you, Natalie. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to accept.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Item number 7, resolution approving 9 separate $50,000 and one $16,277.35 New York State Community Development Block Grants from the Broome County COVID Business Recovery Fund. I like that change too, man. Some pennies in there.
There you go.
Brendan.
So this is in the part of our grant that we're the partners with the county on for COVID relief for businesses. If you recall, we've already approved a number of these already. And this is the next drawdown request that has our administrator approve this for this part. If you recall, the criteria for these businesses is that they have to have 25 or less employees. At least 51% of those employees have to follow the HUD guidelines of low to moderate income levels. And they have to show a 1% loss during the COVID pandemic time period. After our review process of the paperwork that they've submitted, all of these businesses meet those criteria. And we're just asking the board to approve this so we can get the checks back to the businesses.
This did not go through governance, correct?
No, it did not.
There's a number of these are signed, but some aren't signed by.
The reason so there's 3 that are unsigned by the county at this point. And the reason being is that I asked the state, there's a number of businesses that have been highly responsive on getting their paperwork back to us and working through it. We originally had those 3 set in with the tax drawdown, but they've been very proactive and gotten all their information to us quicker than a lot of the others. So I had to ask the state to get them in on this drawdown request and rather than them wait for the next one. And they were amenable to that. So we were working through and waiting on county signatures to get it finalized.
Got it. Any questions for Brendan? Is there a motion to approve? Mike, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? Any additional questions for Brendan? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Any old business? Looking for a motion to adjourn this LDC board meeting. Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Thanks, Jim. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.